Well, this is the town more famous in the sporting world for its love affair of horses and its racecourse. But let's not forget its football team. Cheltenham Town today have a glorious FA Cup fourth round tie, taking on England's most informed team in Manchester City at the Johnny Rocks Stadium. Manchester City are, as you'd expect, heavy favourites to win this game and, more importantly, leap into round 5. But Cheltenham will be hoping to stir up a seismic shock of their own by beating one of English football's modern-day powerhouses and writing another story in this famous and glittering old competition. They could not be any different in so many ways. Leagues apart, financially apart, and streets apart in every sense. Cup fever really has hit this town and its football team over the past week. 2 changes for Cheltenham. Josh Griffiths starts in goal. Of course, he'll be hoping that he doesn't get beat from 96 yards, just like he did on Tuesday against Newport. Lewis Freestone comes in place of Chris Hussey, who is not involved in the squad today. There is incidentally a change in the midfield. Chris Clements comes in place of Ellis Chapman, who drops out as he partners Connor Thomas, who once played in India for Atletico de Calcutta, and Alfie May, who scored in every round of this competition. 3 goals in 3 games for him sees him lead the line on his own. Zach Steffen is the cup goalkeeper for Manchester City this season, as he was in the last round. Taylor Harwood-Bellis plays at right back with Garcia, Laporte and Mendy in there. It's all of a change in the back 4. Also, young Tommy Doyle at 19 years of age plays alongside Fernandinho and the very talented Phil Foden. And then Mahrez, Jesus and Torres are the 3 up front. Jesus has 7 goals in 12 FA Cup matches since joining Manchester City, as the only man to stay in the side from their win on Wednesday is Phil Foden. Well, this small club in the heart of Gloucestershire has been in the spotlight this week. None more so than Michael Duff, whose 2 children are on the regional news and are Manchester City fans, it's claimed. Well, there's the Cheltenham captain, Ben Tozer, who knows a thing or two about causing a cup upset. He was part of the Northampton team 10.5 years ago that beat Liverpool in the League Cup 3rd round at Anfield on penalties. He'll be hoping that he can have one this afternoon with Cheltenham Town. The referee is Stuart Atwell, a man who is a familiar name amongst the Premier League, refereeing in the top flight, of course. Well, for Manchester City, of course, they have to get changed in a bar, something that they're not used to with some of the grounds that they usually get changed at for Premier League matches. But, of course, that is what it is when you come to League 2. Cheltenham, 7th place in the 4th tier, remember. And, of course, as ever, the usual taking of the knee to take away all the social injustice and racial problems that are going on in the world. So, 73 places between these 2 sides. Cheltenham Town, 7th of League 2 against Manchester City, 2nd in the Premier League, just 2 points behind Manchester United, and to some are the favourites to go on and win the Premier League. And already Morris plays a lovely ball through to Jesus, and inside 22 seconds he's forced a fantastic save out of Josh Griffiths. Well, it was a beautiful ball by the Algerian Mahrez. He played it through to Jesus, onside with the keeper to beat, but Josh Griffiths makes a fine save. Well, he got beyond Tozer, went past him and had the keeper to beat. He just tried to flick it over him, but he is a tall goalie, is Josh Griffiths, and was able to just get a hand away to it. But Manchester City already inside the opening 60 seconds with a real good opportunity to go in front. And now it's a lovely ball here too. The right-hand side. Blair will put the ball in, and chasing it in there is Alfie May. And it runs on through to Zach Steffen, the American goalkeeper. And Alfie May is crashed right into the advertising hoardings as he was trying to chase that ball down. But it was lovely, quick play by Cheltenham as they broke down the Manchester City left-hand side. Just the cross just went a little bit beyond Alfie May, who's still on the deck, and they will receive a break in play in Cheltenham as he will probably get some treatment. But here's the break here. Blair with a really good run, good low cross in. May dived in, and his knee just goes right into the advertising board as he was stretching for that ball. He's not too far away from it at all, and he just could not stop as he went in knee first into the advertising audience, and he will receive some treatment of some sort. But just as soon as they went behind inside 25 seconds, Michael Duff's team nearly came up with an answer to go 1-0 up. Well, he's a man who's a legend with two clubs in Cheltenham and Burnley, was a promotion winner with Cheltenham twice, back in 1999 and 2002, when they firstly won the National League title, or the conference back then, and then in League Two, they won the playoffs nearly 19 years ago. And then he followed and moved to Burnley and won 3 promotions to the Premier League via the Championship. He's the only man to do that in and amongst the English pyramid, and he's the only player to play in the top 8 divisions of English football. So he's somebody who's got a bit of history and a bit of a record behind him, shall we say. And that's 2 facts and answers for a quiz, or a good quiz question, shall we say. Here is Eric Garcia, heavily linked with a move away from Manchester City. Rumours that he's Barcelona-bound, the club he began his professional career with before moving to England a few years ago. Is Stefan, the American goalkeeper, who's playing his 8th appearance, and all 8 of his appearances have appeared in 4 games in the FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League and League Cup. Incidentally for him, here's Matty Blair, one of the oldest players in this Cheltenham team. Thomas manages to hold off the challenge of Fernandinho, but City, as they do so well, try and win it back. Garcia got into a spot of bother, but Alfie May is offside. Flag up there by Konstantin Hatzidakis, the linesman there. Well, this is a game Cheltenham will certainly embrace. It isn't every day that you play one of the great sides in English football. Manchester City, as we know, 6-time winners of this competition, the latter coming in 2019, with probably one of the best ever FA Cup final performances you're ever likely to see. Foden's poke pass through is overhit as Mendy was trying to chase and keep the ball in play, and it's gone out for a goal kick. Well, he's not used to going to these sort of grounds, is Pep Guardiola. He's got over 700 matches of managerial experience under his belt and has a win percentage of 72%, which is not too shabby to say the least. 8 trophies in 4.5 years as City boss. He'll be hoping you can make it 9 by maybe adding the FA Cup to it. Here is now George Lloyd. Bit away from the number 15, Will Boyle. And it's sent clear by the Manchester City defence, and then knocking it back to Josh Griffiths was Lewis Freestone. Cheltenham just playing hard, just trying to get in the game as much as they can early on. Alfie May once again flagged up for offside. Man who has scored in every single round of this cup competition so far. Netted against South Shields and netted against Mansfield. He didn't score actually against Crewe Alexandra, but he has scored 3 in 3 FA Cup matches. Lovely ball through. Looking for Tommy Doyle, but was an overhit pass by Aymeric Laporte. Back in the team. Missed the last 4 games due to an injury that he picked up. His last game, of course, came against Arsenal in that League Cup League Cup quarter-final back on the 22nd of December. Josh Griffiths will take this goal kick, the West Brom loanee, first senior loan. A man who this week suffered the ignominy of being beaten by a fellow goalkeeper. Here's Alfie May going to come in from the left. Goes and tries to cross it in. It's blocked off Harwood Bellis. Jesus has fouled Chris Clements, and Cheltenham have a free kick. It was Alfie May who had the ball. He tried to put it in, and Harwood Bellis got it away. And you can just see there's that little push in the back there on Clements as Jesus is just trying to hunt him down. Well, they do possess Will Boyle, a man who has scored 4 goals already this season, including the match winner in the 3rd round against Mansfield, which obviously went to extra time. Clements with the floated diagonal ball to the back post. Coming in with it was Tozer. Put back in by the Cheltenham player there, Finn Azaz, but despite a block and appeals for a handball, Stuart Atwell, let's play continue. Freeston to Thomas. Looks for the number 15, Will Boyle, but then Laporte is able to just get a foot to it first and knock it to Benjamin Mendy. But Cheltenham inside the opening 7.5 minutes or so have been very on it so far. Mahrez can't get around Lewis Freeston, but as one of free kickers, the Algerian was blocked off by the Cheltenham Town number 17. So first free kick for Cheltenham to deal with. Of course, Manchester City have scored set pieces in the last few games, albeit with John Stones, even though Stones is not involved this evening. It will be Tommy Doyle who will take. He'll be looking to try and pick out a black shirt, and they're not a bad delivery, and it's got to touch off someone in there, and it's managed to go on through to Josh Griffiths. Well, he put a lot of whip on that ball there, did Tommy Doyle, and it got a little glancing header for Cheltenham player, and then it just sort of hit another Manchester City player. I think he might have took a nick actually off Ben Tozer, but nonetheless, it was a routine save in the end for the Cheltenham Town goalkeeper. And then Clements biting away at the ankles of Mahrez, and has won a free kick after Mahrez had fouled him. That's the second time Clements has done that, where he's, not giving up the chase and tried to get the ball down and look for a pass. And Jesus fouled him for that free kick around a few minutes ago. And then obviously Mahrez has forced him into a foul quite well away out. Well, he's going all the way back to the left-hand touchline. Out of play to try and kick that ball back in. Deep ball in there. Fernandinho underneath it. And then a bit of an awkward clearance there by the Manchester City defence. Griffiths, his kick is out for a throw. I think if you said to Michael Duff inside 10 minutes, would he be happy with this? He would be. Well, this is the penalty shout. It was put back in by Thomas. Laporte's arm is certainly tucked in. It certainly brushes off his hand, but whether or not that is a penalty is another thing to think about. Of course, there is no VAR for tonight's game. Only selected games do have it in the FA Cup. Here is Garcia. Plays a diagonal ball out to Mahrez and picks him out. Freeston coming out to close the angle. He does manage to play it through to Doyle. He crosses in, no delivery. Well away there by Charlie Raglan. And then well won there by George Lloyd. He'll have to do a lot of defensive work tonight if he's to stop Manchester City from scoring. Player who's come through the Cheltenham Academy. Sent forward by Boyle. And then Laporte is there to pick it up. Well, he's been involved in a lot of the action so far as Chris Clements. Came in tonight for Ellis Chapman, who's missing with an injury. It is understood. Lovely ball out to Mahrez. To Fernandinho. Lovely ball out to the right with Doyle. Put the ball in again. Good delivery. Tozer away. Hit by Mendy. That's a vital block on the line by Ben Tozer, the Cheltenham skipper. Really good anticipation to know that Mendy was going to shoot at goal, and it was a strike that was a real powerful one by Mendy. Got a hold of it superbly, and Ben Tozer with some real heroic defending on the line to keep it at 0-0, but he's got a corner to defend, the Cheltenham skipper, as well as his team. In by Doyle, not a bad delivery. And then it is away by Tozer. And Stuart Atwell is wanting to speak to Aymeric Laporte and Will Boyle. Might have been a bit of tussling going on in that box. So there's another chance for Manchester City to take this corner with Tommy Doyle. Referee Stuart Atwell will keep his eyes on the pushing and shoving in the box. In by Doyle. This time it is headed away well by Cheltenham. Mahrez tries to get away from Lloyd, and then he's able to clear it away. Here is now Phil Foden. Looks up, tried to spray it out to Jesus, but is unable to get anywhere near it. Well, there was Mendy's strike, and that was goal bound. It would have been an absolutely brilliant goal by the French left back, but what brilliant anticipation that was by Ben Tozer to get on the goal line and just head that behind. Fantastic defensive work by the Robin skipper to keep this game at 0-0, and that's now twice when Manchester City have come close to scoring, and that, you feel, won't be the only two occasions that Pep Guardiola's side will have of scoring tonight. I mean, you saw it there. Mendy just sort of came in unopposed. Nobody for Cheltenham even saw him. He was even aware that he was in there. He's just caught that so sweetly. And if Tozer's not there, we just know that that's going into the back of the net. But it really, really was a fantastic bit of defending. Something that you don't usually see defenders do, making the run there. Ball in towards Torres, sees him go down. The referee, Stuart Atwell, says no. He's saying he got a kick there, but Stuart Atwell saying that the Cheltenham defender, Boyle, tried his very best to try and win the ball there and actually might have got a nick to it. He's still staying down, clutching his right pec as well, but he is back up to his feet, the Spaniard. Fernandinho. Freeston, though, able to calmly head it all the way back to his goalkeeper, who will not take this any time quickly, I would expect. He's a former Brighton under-23 player, is Lewis Freeston. Hasn't had the joy of regular football for Cheltenham, and he's had to take his chance when he's had to. But he has played in every game in the FA Cup so far this season as the 21-year-old. With Bellis taking the throne, one of three City Academy players on the pitch, him, Foden and Tommy Doyle. Would Bellis played 45 minutes against Birmingham in that 3-0 win in which they scored all three of their goals inside 33 minutes. They were 2-0 up, actually, within 15 minutes. So Cheltenham are doing a better job than Birmingham City, Manchester City's previous opponents in the FA Cup. Harwood Bellis. It is important for Cheltenham that when they are out of possession, they just maintain their shape. Don't allow the players to just escape and lose their concentration. They certainly know all about that within the first 25 seconds with that chance for Jesus. Here is now Azaz, tries to play it through to Alfie May, but it's drifted beyond him and into the feet of Aymeric Laporte. And then Manchester City are able to pass their way out from the back under no immediate Cheltenham pressure. Doyle out to Laporte. Of course, as we know, Ruben Diaz and John Stones have been an absolute formidable partnership for Manchester City. And whilst Laporte has been missing out, even if he was in and around the first team and not injured, he would have found it very hard to have got in the side, given the amazing form that both Diaz and Stones have been on. Ferran Torres has had a shot for a penalty. Tozer Certainly does catch him, but to give a penalty in that instance would have been very, very harsh. His eyes are on the ball. Certainly no malice in there. Something like that. I think you always have to side with the defensive player as he's trying to just claw that away. And so far in this game for Manchester City, we have seen a few occasions where the players in particular are just trying to make those runs through the middle. And it does almost feel like maybe Manchester City is setting up in the same way as Cheltenham. You can see that they are playing their three at the back. Mahrez with the ball in, a little bit short. Away by Raglan. Here's Mendy. In by Torres. Opportunity! And he gets the shot away and then it's saved and then they're unable to clear it. Well, it came into Ferran Torres and he was only a few yards out, but he could only hit his shot straight at Josh Griffiths. Well, it was a lovely ball in, low on the floor to Ferran Torres. Will Boyle just did not get anywhere near him. He doesn't really get a hold of it, does he? Josh Griffiths makes himself big. It's a good save. And then as Tozer tries to clear it, it just bounces off the back of Lewis Freeston and goes out for a corner. In by Doyle. Not a bad delivery. Away by Tozer. Shot comes in by Foden. And then the block sees the ball carry all the way through to the Cheltenham Town goalkeeper, who's already had 2 saves to make, and it's been 2 very important saves nonetheless. It has been 2 very good saves. Well, he'll be pondering. He's always a man that his team usually don't panic. They just wait for the right time. And, you know, they are a side, Manchester City, that if they know they're going to create opportunities as they do, eventually they will take their chances. And, of course, if things aren't going well for them or going to plan, they have the luxury of bringing on Raheem Sterling, Bernardo Silva, and possibly Ilkay Gundogan. Here is Mahrez. Slips as he tries to free himself from Lewis Freeston. Tommy Doyle now to Aymeric Laporte. Garcia. Too much for Mahrez to run onto. And it's a easy take for the goalkeeper, Josh Griffiths. He's done a terrific job, Michael Doyle, in the Michael Duff in the 2. In the 18 months he's been at the club, his second full season now. Took them from 20th all the way to the League 2 playoff semi-finals last year, of course, where it was real heartbreak. They were 2-0 up from the first leg against Northampton. It looked like they were going to seal the job, but then at home they were beaten 3-0, and Northampton overturned the deficit to reach Wembley and ultimately win promotion at Exeter City's expense. And having another good campaign within the playoff positions in League 2 at the moment. They are currently on 37 points, a few points shy away from the chasing pack of Cambridge and Newport. Lovely ball out to Mahrez, as we know, just loves to hug that touchline down that right-hand side. Defended well by Cheltenham, as Mahrez is not allowed to bring the ball any further. Play through to May, who's once again offside. He's being called out here enough by the high line that Manchester City are playing. Well, he poked the ball through to May, and he thought he'd actually broke through the lines, but ultimately he was called out once again. 21 minutes have passed, and Cheltenham have had their scares, but as of yet, holding Manchester City. A side, remember, 16 games unbeaten in the Premier League. Harwood Bellis, local lad, Stockport born, playing his second game as a starter, his 4th appearance in total. Here's Jesus, now to Torres, all the way back now to Harwood Bellis, who's come a long way forward. Now to Mahrez, he'll cross it on his left foot. It's a delicious ball for Jesus. And he made contact with the delivery, but it's A header that has not troubled the Cheltenham Town goalkeeper Griffiths. As we know, Mahrez likes to get it on that left foot of his. Just takes that touch out in front of him, and it's a lovely cross in there. Shaves over the defenders' heads. And then Jesus just goes off the side of his head and just, in the end, is off target. But had he went straight forward and headed it a goal, it would have been a bit different. Lovely touch there by Cheltenham Town, knowing that the match of the day, BBC One cameras were going to be heading down to Gloucestershire. Lovely ball through to May. What a chance this is for May! And he caught it on the half volley, and Stefan has saved it. Well, this time he was onside, got in the box, but he was denied by the big hand of the American goalkeeper. Yeah, May plays a lovely 1-2 with Finn Azaz. He just gets a hold of it on the half volley. It's a really well-connected effort, and you can tell how close he is to scoring by his reaction. And that's a really good save at his near post by the American Zach Stefan. Corner's taken by Clements. Not a bad delivery. Stefan with the palm away, which is well away from the danger as Cheltenham are unable to get the ball back in. But Tozer's pickpocketed Jesus. In it goes by Will Boyle. Away by Laporte. Finn Azaz on loan from West Brom. Goes to the edge of the box with Clements. Now Boyle. Thomas tries to get it back, and then Boyle fouls the Manchester City player on the floor, Tommy Doyle, and Will Boyle goes into the book. Yeah, they worked it well there, Cheltenham, and it just went to Boyle. He tried to give it back to Thomas, and I think that's a really harsh booking now. I must admit, he's got every intention to try and win the ball, but I guess if you're coming from behind, you're always running the risk of getting a yellow card. That's a booking there for Will Boyle, former Huddersfield Town man. Had spells on loan with the likes of Kilmarnock up in Scotland and York City and Macclesfield, to just name a few of his clubs. The crossfield ball for Mahrez this time is over his head by Laporte. And it's a Cheltenham Town throw. Well, it is always nice to see youngsters get a go. Of course, with the youngsters at Manchester City, you don't expect them to be very good and easy on the eye to see. And you can certainly see that within the opening 25 minutes of this game with Doyle and Phil Foden. Foden, as we know, such a name now, building himself a real reputation as being one of England's real bright sparks. Fernandinho knocks it to Benjamin Mendy. Has really struggled to get that momentum and really cement his place in the team. Injuries have dominated his City career so far. The French left back, Fernandinho. And again, Fernandinho once again, who is actually the oldest player on the pitch tonight as well, 35. Will be 36 in May. Harwood Bellis. Foden. Mendy with time to look up and try and get the low cross in. It took a deflection off a Cheltenham player. Griffiths fought back trying to come and claim it, but instead he just let it run across him. And then Lewis Frieston is able to try and play his way out from the back and does so successfully. As Garcia thought about knocking it back to Stefan, then went and turned to go forward, but then he does eventually knock it back to Stefan as Alfie May went away from him. Yeah, Cheltenham, as they know that this City team, the fullbacks love to bomb on and just really attack that space that's always left in behind the, wing-backs in this case of Blair and Freeston. We haven't really seen Mahrez do a lot of it, or Harwood Bellis, but we've seen Mendy do it. It's a first-time low cross. It goes off Charlie Raglan, and it carried on through. And if you just felt that maybe Jesus was in that position where he was beyond both Boyle and Tozer, he would have just maybe put that ball in the net and maybe had a chance at goal. Well, in the 8 previous meetings they've had against higher opposition, Cheltenham Town. They have failed to win any of them. And tonight, they are looking to put that barren run to an end and cause an absolutely huge upset here in Gloucestershire. Alfie May fouled, free kick, Cheltenham Town. Well, they'll like the opportunity of having free kicks. You know, they've got 3 centre-backs. As we know, look at Boyle. He's such a big presence, isn't he? And they'll obviously look to try and use him. And then you've obviously got Manchester City. They all know that set pieces are where Cheltenham can be really threatening. It will be Chris Clements who's going to take this free kick. Freeston and Azaza on the edge of the box. So if anything does come back toward them, they'll be hoping they can get a chance. Good deep cross in there. There was 3 Cheltenham players attacking it. But Zach Steffen watches the ball all the way and confidently catches the ball and rolls it out. You can see what Clements is trying to do from his set pieces. He really floats it, doesn't he? And he just sort of has the trajectory where the ball sort of just stays high. But the goalkeeper, when you've got 3 attacking players right there, it is always very, very difficult for you to deal with that potentially. But he did very, very well there and just didn't look flustered or overwhelmed. It was a real confident, good commanding bit of goalkeeping by the American. Laporte again. Garcia, Harwood Bellis. Now looks up and once again goes to the diagonal, aiming for Mendy, and then well headed back there by Matty Blair, who goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. Well, it will be a real test tonight for Matty Blair, wouldn't it? No doubt about it. Given his age and given the athleticism of Benjamin Mendy, he's really got to have his wits about him, the man at right wing back for Cheltenham, 31 years of age. Impressed on trial in the summer. Ball was carried on through. May and Garcia were both challenging for it. Looked like May had his arms around Garcia, but ultimately Stuart Atwell says no, as Manchester City are able to just play out from the back and see the ball with them at their feet and in their own defensive half. Mendy's growing into this game because he had that real good opportunity where he had that shot that looked destined for the net, only for Ben Tozer to have other ideas for Cheltenham Town. Foden with a lovely ball through the middle to Doyle. Real eye of the needle type pass there by Foden. Mahrez to Harwood Bellis. Foden trying to play it over the top to Mahrez. He's going to chase onto it, but it's gone beyond him and out for a goal kick. He just put a little bit too much on it, and we've not really seen Mahrez do that tonight, where he's making runs through the middle, and he did there, and ultimately just couldn't get it under control. Well, Cheltenham Town do possess a big, big pitch, funnily enough, as well, which is something that Manchester City will be hoping that they can use to their advantage. Mahrez Media tomorrow. We've got 2 live games for you. I'll be covering Chelsea against Luton Town. Remember, Chelsea's manager Frank Lampard under pressure. Alfie May is offside there. And then, of course, the other game being covered is Middlesbrough against Blackburn in that all-championship clash live from the Riverside Stadium. With the game kicking off from 3. Catch up with Rai Sonley. Well, that's a real tight call to make. Konstantin Hatzidakis was the man who put his flag up to stop Alfie May there, as he was only an arm or so offside there. Lovely ball to Mendy, low to Foden, and he just did not really get a hold of that, did he, Foden? It came into him, hit it first time, but he's almost just dragged it into the ground. Yeah, Matty Blair's really struggling against Mendy, isn't he? And it comes into him, and this time he executes it on the volley. Low ball into Foden. He hits it first time for the curler. I didn't really give him a lot of credit for that first attempt. He gets the shot away. It comes into him. He looks to try and bend it around the keeper at his near post, but he just sees it go wide. Well, that's where the threat has been. Because as you see in that attack, Matty Blair tucked inside, and him defending narrowly allowed Mendy, who's, as we know, loves to just make that run. He can make that run for days on end, and he just put the ball into Foden. It was a lovely, intricate pass into him, but Foden's finish was off target. And to be fair, Josh Griffiths had that one covered, but still, you would have expected Foden, with the quality and the class he has, to have maybe snuck that ball away. Jesus can't pick anybody out in his pass. Runs out of play for a goal kick. Steve Book, goalkeeping coach at Cheltenham Town. Of course, a man who's also played for the club. Southwest born, and stressed the fact that he only had £200 to bring a goalkeeper in after Scott Flinders hurt his hand and stumbled upon signing Josh Griffiths from West Brom, and what a signing it has been. So just goes to show that not having all the money in the world can buy you quality players, or good players in this case. Doyle has got a little bit quiet in the last few minutes. Thought he was fouled, but the referee says no. George Lloyd was the man who stopped him in his tracks. Azaz to Freestone. Delays and then goes back. Here's Boyle. Tozer now to Charlie Raglan. We've not really seen any possession at the back from Cheltenham. They have really been having to just be strong at the back, out of possession. Azaz once again trying to find the flick through to May, but it's well away from him, and Manchester City are able to tidy up and knock it back with Harwood Bellis, who gives it back to Stefan. Well, that's one thing Azaz is doing, isn't he? He's almost playing as a second striker, as a number 10. And, of course, he's just looking to try and flick the ball onto May, as they're just trying to get that chance from him like he did when Stefan was at his near post to deny him. Garcia on the ball. Mahrez. Foden. Laporte. Manchester City just sizing up the opportunity. Mahrez has a lovely ball through. Jesus goes down. There's arms waved by Stuart Atwell to say no penalty. It certainly would have been harsh to have given that, but City still have it here with Mendy. Here's Jesus. Gets away from Clements. Can't get around the swarm of Cheltenham bodies who are able to withstand Jesus. Here's Fernandinho. He tries one and has had his shot go past the post. That dipping attempt from Fernandinho. You've seen them go in, but on this occasion, you've seen them go wide. Yeah, Mahrez plays it through to Jesus. Well, he certainly doesn't catch him in the face. Raglan puts his arm on his shoulder, and then it's that chance with Fernandinho here. He hits it really well, and it's just whistled past the post, and that is not too far away at all. Well, the chances have been not really there for Jesus since that chance within the first 30 seconds. The Brazilian, who's got 7 goals in 12 FA Cup matches, is as of yet not able to add to it, and is like his teammates, being frustrated by Cheltenham Town. Such a meticulous coach as Pep Guardiola will always pick out the finer things out of a team performance. It's been so often known that when they do win, he always does find the little things. He is a perfectionist to some degree. Garcia's clearance has gone into the path of May. He gets the shot away. Fernandinho in front of it to block it. Boyle with a little pass to Freestone. And now Tozer will knock it back to Griffiths. Tozer once again to Griffiths. Kicks it, looking for the right. Blair will get up with Mendy. Well competed between Blair as it's bounced off the back of his head. Gone into the path of May. Azaz was trying to get it under control. Doyle sends it clear. It was a clearance that went here, there, and everywhere. And in the end, it's gone out of play for a corner kick. Doyle's just sort of stepped in there and just tried to send the ball forward. And he's instead just absolutely leathered it off his foot. He's gone out of play for a corner. Cheltenham bring men up from the back. Smile on the face of Michael Duff as he chats with the fourth official, Andrew Madley. Got to be a good delivery from Clements. Can they test Manchester City as the half is edging closer to the whistle? Flicked on by Tozer, and in the end, no other Cheltenham player on the second flick is able to get onto it. That's a lovely outside of the foot pass. Here's Mahrez now. Gets in the Cheltenham box. Looks like he might have overrun it. Delivery goes in. Matty Blair comes in and heads that one clear. I think it was Foden that played that ball. It was just outside of the foot, and it just carried all the way through to Mahrez, and he's got to wait for the support to come up there, and he puts the ball in, but Cheltenham defend it well enough again. Jesus. Doyle. Harwood Bellis. Fernandinho. Doyle. Fernandinho once again. Garcia. Laporte. Good feed by Foden. Here's Mahrez. Chance to shoot perhaps. Mahrez does go for goal. Griffith saves. Spills it up in the air, and then he's able to keep the ball in his grasp this time round. Well, it was lovely chinking feet by Foden to set up the chance for Mahrez. He struck it from range, called it sweetly, swerving and moving all over the place. Hence why Griffith couldn't save it at the first attempt and pushed it up in the air. But then luckily there was no City player following it on the rebound, and he was able to make a good save. Here's Azaz. Tries to poke it through, gets it back from Lloyd, tries to give it to May. Azaz nearly got it back through to him from Alfie May, but City are able to hack it away. But there is signs that Cheltenham can get in and beyond City's defence. Foden. Well, Manchester City will certainly remember 3 years ago when Wigan Athletic dumped them out of the FA Cup, then of League One. When Will Grigg scored there. Morris with the ball in. Well watched by Tozer as he clears the ball away. There was a foul there as the ball was played back to the Cheltenham defence. And there's fireworks going off. Could just be celebrating at Manchester City in town, or it could have a deeper message. Like, of course, what happened in the Stockport and West Ham United game. And Stuart Atwell blows his whistle for the players to come off in the midst of things. Chance for them to get some fluids on board and get some instructions from their manager and coaching staff, no doubt. He will be delighted, you would imagine. He did say that they do make teams in the Premier League look ordinary, and in some cases, Cheltenham Town of League Two have really stood against Manchester City's weight and have really sort of punched themselves at it in a game that they are managing really well so far. You're always going to concede chances against the City team. There is no hiding that, and against the top quality team. But to sort of do what they're doing really does show that Manchester City knew it was going to be tough, and it has just got that little bit more tougher. Well, the fireworks don't seem to be dying out anytime soon. course, they did have an extra police presence ahead of this game, of course, as they were maybe worried that, of course, still with the rules in place of games being played behind closed doors, that some fans would try and sneak in or try and maybe loiter around the stadium in not a conventional manner in these times with social distancing and what have you. It's the hottest ticket in town that unfortunately no one can have. And it's delayed what had been quite a fast-paced game. Something that you don't usually see, in which fireworks do stop a match. Michael Duff just chatting with Stuart Atwell, just sort of enjoying the fireworks, I believe. To know what that chat was about between the referee and the Cheltenham Town boss. It was only as brief as it can get. Will Boyle's even having a chat now with Stuart Atwell. They will see the funny side of it. Cheltenham Town do anyway. And of course, with the break in play, which has probably lasted about 2.5 minutes, it's a chance for those players to just sort of get a bit more stretch into their legs. Of course, it has to sort of stop now, the game, because of what is happening. Bentosa so far has produced a goal-saving clearance or interception in which he flicked that ball off the line to deny Benjamin Mendy from putting Manchester City 1-0 up. So we're going to have at least 4 or 5 minutes plus of injury time in this FA Cup 4th round encounter between League Two Cheltenham and Manchester City. 73 places separating these two teams. In what is, of course, a League Two v Premier League clash. Really to sort of just bring out what the FA Cup really stands for, where a side that not many people will know in Cheltenham Town facing one of the bigger teams in Manchester City that everybody knows are just so well covered. Game restarts now, finally. Griffiths with the kick forward, flipped on by Boyle, and there's a foul given there as Alfie May looked to have maybe gone into the back of Laporte. It might have been what Will Boyle might have done, but free kick given. 6 minutes added on at the end of this first half, in which prior to the firework display halting the game, there was no injuries or players going down of any sort, apart from, of course, Alfie May within the first 120 seconds of this game. But of course, he was able to get it quite quickly after banging his knee into the advertising board and stretching for a Matty Blair ball. Offside against Ferran Torres. Cheltenham Town free kick. Well, they knew it was going to be tough in Manchester City, but Cheltenham Town are making things harder. There's Raheem Sterling. He's on the bench. You would think that if it's like this for maybe the first quarter of the second half, you maybe think Guardiola would bring him on, and Harwood Bellis has to clear it away, saying to Zach Steffen, you should have come and shown for it and given me an option. But the American goalkeeper was having none of it, and Harwood Bellis has to just send that clear for a throw-in. And there's a chance for Bentosa to have an opportunity to put the ball into the box, and for the first time tonight, have a long throw-in put into the Manchester City box and have something of this calibre for them to think about. Leaning back as he tries to get as much power through his arms. Not a bad throw, it's a deep one, and then Well watched by Laporte, who heads it out for a corner kick. Toes just trying to get his aim in, isn't he? Trying to get his technique right. He leans back, doesn't he? Leans down. Good throw. Looking for Charlie Ragland, and then it was well watched by Laporte, who headed that behind. But Zach Steffen was really crowded out. He literally could not have moved a muscle there, the American goalkeeper. Clemens to take the corner. Delivered in well by Clemens. Steffen can only punch it clear. Headed back in by Freeston. Mendy with the first time volley away. It clears the danger for Manchester City, and Manny Blair sees it go out for a throw-in. You do feel that perhaps maybe set pieces and free kicks and throw-ins could be where Cheltenham could really find themselves with a good hope. But Manchester City, to be fair, have dealt with that quite well. I mean, Steffen's looked quite comfortable in the goal so far. He's been confident when he's had to deal with the opportunities, the American, and you've got to take your hat off to him. He has done very well in that respect. And of course, Cheltenham, it certainly hasn't just been one-way traffic. They have had a good opportunity. Alfie May with their best chance with that half volley that the American goalkeeper Steffen saved. So we'll take the long throw again, albeit well away from the Manchester City area. But he has made a bit of ground up here as he's got a bit of a jog to get the ball from the touchline, and that's another opportunity for him to throw it in the final 12 yards of the Manchester City box, and of course rubs the ball with the towel as he just tries to make sure the ball's dry as he throws it in. Not a bad one in there. Touch from a Manchester City player. It looked like it might have been Aymeric Laporte. Again, Manchester City are able to clear and successfully deal with a Ben Toes, a long throw. George Lloyd and Fernandinho competing. They look to arm in the back. Advantage is looked to have been played by Stuart Atwell. Nothing doing, says the referee. Foden. Is he going to get around Tozer? Tozer, though, uses his body to good effect and stops Foden as he runs out of room. And then he clears it out for a throw-in. There's 90 seconds of the first half remain, in which it is goalless if you are just tuning in. Well, I think if you would have asked him before the game, if he would have took 0-0 at half-time, he would have been happy about that. But he's still got work to do if they're going to hold on to it, remember. George Lloyd almost just runs into Benjamin Mendy. Didn't even know he was there as he was trying to clear it up the pitch back towards the Manchester City defence. It's Fernandinho. Jesus. Almost playing as a midfielder. Ball goes in. Can't beat the first man. Tozer once again with the header away. Harwood Bellis. The right back now to Mahrez. Skims away from Freeston. Lovely ball to Doyle. Gets the cross in. Tozer comes across and cuts it out. Corner to Manchester City. Lovely play by Mahrez. Freeston's done really well against him, and he's just been out to him really, really quickly. But he just lets that little bit of room beyond him for Mahrez to just try and expose and get into. And he gives it to Doyle, plays it through. Good ball in, but it's well defended. Doyle to take the corner. In it goes, away by Ragland. Fernandinho could not get his touch right. Had he got that one right, he certainly would have been taking a shot at goal, but it is 0-0 at the break. Ben Tozer with a vital block on the line to deny Benjamin Mendy's been a real highlight, but Michael Duff's team have had chances of their own. Their best chance fell to Alfie May with his half volley, in which Zach Steffen was forced to make a save at his near post. City have come close with Jesus and Torres, both having shots saved from Josh Griffiths. But it's half-time here in Gloucestershire. Cheltenham Town 0, Manchester City 0. Well, it's not been the half that has all gone Manchester City's way. They've had a good goalie standing in their way in Josh Griffiths, and they've also, as well, seen the chances presented to them not be taken. But they've certainly not been disappointed. They have played well to an extent, but of course, as we know, they can play better. Manchester City, given the top team they are, the quality, the class that they have, you do expect them to kick it up a few gears or two. But you've got to give Cheltenham a lot of credit. They have played a smart game plan, and when they have had the opportunities, they have tried to take them. And of course, they have been very few and far between so far. But of course, you have to praise the defensive efforts of the Robins as well in this game, just as much as anything else. In what is at the moment a goalless first half. Well, the chances have been about in the first half. Obviously, as I've said, Manchester City had the most of them, and the best chance fell to Jesus within the opening 30 seconds of the game. It was a absolutely lovely ball by Mahrez, but this was the Cheltenham openings that they've had in the game. That was that opening chance inside the opening 2 minutes when May couldn't quite get on the end of Manny Blair's ball, and then obviously that ball from Azaz in which May drifted to the left, got in between Laporte and Harwood Bellis, struck it on the half volley. Could not have hit it any better in truth, but he was not to beat Zach Steffen, who was able to shuffle across and make a save at his near post. And then Ben Tozer's clearance is probably what's been the real standout moment. Mendy, with an absolutely superb effort, drove that at goal. It was a lovely ball in by Doyle at first. Good header away by Tozer. He just thinks he's just got to hope that that ball's going to fall to Mendy. It was almost like a sixth sense, if you like, where it drops to him. And then Tozer does brilliantly, not just to get on the line and head it and stop it going in, but to actually head it behind. That was even better from the Plymouth-born Cheltenham Town number 4. What was that? Real good opening for Benjamin Mendy, who's had a real good half, if you like. Mahrez played that ball to Jesus. That was a lovely ball. That was in the first 50 seconds. That was the chance I was alluding to a few minutes ago, where that ball was played into him. He tried to dink it over Josh Griffiths, but Josh Griffiths, of course, is a goalie of a big stature and a big height, and was not to be denied over the top. Torres had that chance where he was only a few yards out and saw that opportunity saved by Griffiths down the middle of his goal. And of course, there was that Foden chance, which was off target. Of course, if he went the other way and aimed for the far corner, he would have probably had a better result. And then there was that Mahrez chance in which Griffiths saved, such a difficult one for him to deal with, that he actually saved it. The ball went the other direction of where he saved it, but you certainly can't fault the Cheltenham Town goalkeeper, who had a real tough ordeal of suffering the injustice of being beaten by a fellow goalkeeper, as Tom King of Newport scored from 96 yards out and joined a club that includes the likes of Paul Robinson, Tim Howard, scoring from their own half, and beat a goalkeeper in which the ball and the bounce went over their head and into the goal. So obviously 0-0 here at the Johnny Rocks Stadium, a ground that has, of course, actually been given a bit of a revamp, as of course the cameras and the English press and some of the world's press have been locking their eyes and have been in and around the town over the last few days. It is such a shame that fans have not been able to come to the ground tonight for Cheltenham Town, of course, and really almost, if you like, be here to enjoy the spectacle and welcome to some, again, the English champions and the side chasing the quadruple in England. Of course, they won the English treble in 2019, where they won the Premier League, League Cup and FA Cup. They're in the League Cup final already, which of course is being played in April. And of course, they are looking to reach the FA Cup final in May. And also, they're looking to get to the Champions League final, of course, in Istanbul. There's been other FA Cup games taking place today and this afternoon. Of course, the news that has followed through in the FA Cup through the other games. The holders Arsenal are out as Southampton dumped them out at St Mary's. Mikel Arteta's team, of course, he won it against Chelsea last year, beaten by 1-0 via an own goal from Gabriel Magalhaes, as Arsenal are out. So, joy for the Saints. Sheffield United beat Bristol Rovers in round 3 to set up a tie against Plymouth. They're through. They won by 3-0. Chris Bastion got the ball rolling towards the end of the first half with their header here from a Billy Sharp chipped cross to the back post. Saw Chris Wilder's team go in front. Then they went 2-0 up. A lovely goal from Billy Sharp. Sheffield United fan remember sticking the ball in the net as he has done throughout his entire career with his many different clubs, beat the goalkeeper Michael Cooper. And despite the best efforts of the Plymouth players in defence, they could do nothing to stop them. Plymouth actually got a goal back. I do apologise, in what made it 2-1. Panucci Camara made it 2-1, but it wasn't enough as Sheffield United are through to round 5. Well, Brighton and Hove Albion, they faced League One opposition in Blackpool. Of course, they were taken all the way by Newport in round 3. And of course, it was Brighton that got the ball rolling. What a goal by Yves Bissouma. Really is getting rave reviews at the Seagulls, isn't it? Attracting attention from the likes of Arsenal and Manchester United. You can see why with a strike like that. Of course, he hit it from around sort of 25 yards out. No chance for Chris Maxwell in the Blackpool goal. But then the Tangerines did not lie down. They took the game to Brighton and they got themselves an equaliser. Lovely ball in. And there was Gary Medine to stab the ball in over the head of the goalkeeper. Jason Steele, who was the hero in the penalty shootout in round 3 win over Newport, could do nothing to save that here. But then Brighton would avoid extra time as this shot came in from Alexis McAllister. It took a huge deflection on its way through. Actually hit a fellow Brighton player. Actually hit Stephen Alzate and it was actually Alzate who had the shot, hit McAllister and went in as Brighton won by 2-1. Elsewhere, of course, Millwall were beaten 3-0 by Bristol City. Dean Holden's team getting a huge win at the Den. West Ham United, comfortable winners against Doncaster. They won by 4-0 Fornals and Yarmolenko amongst the goals there as they won at the London Stadium to play against Manchester United. Also as well, Swansea and Nottingham Forest was 5-1 to Swansea, and Barnsley beat Norwich. Of course, leaders in the Championship by 7 points. They were dumped out of the Cup by the Tykes, of course, semi-finalists in 2008. Well, of course, there are other games across this weekend in the FA Cup 4th round. The pick of the bunch, Manchester United against Liverpool. Remember, they, of course, only met each other 6 days ago, which was a 0-0. Liverpool, of course, hurting after losing to Burnley. I'll be hoping that they can beat Manchester United in the FA Cup 4th round tomorrow at Old Trafford. Of course, as well, other games include Chelsea against Luton Town. Of course, that's a game live from 12 o'clock. And a game that I'll be covering for RS Media. Frank Lampard, remember, under serious pressure and really needs a win under his belt. And also, Middlesbrough against Blackburn will be covered on RS Media by Ryan Sonley in that all-championship tie at the Riverside Stadium for that one there. So, of course, it has been already a busy round of matches in the FA Cup. Of course, as I said, our coverage doesn't stop there. Of course, the 5th round draw has already been made, remember. So, of course, some sides will know who they play. Sheffield United will play Bristol City in round 5. Manchester United or Liverpool will face West Ham in round 5. Of course, In this game here, it is Cheltenham 0, Manchester City 0 in this game, nonetheless. And of course, who they play will be very interesting to see. Of course, they will be taking on Swansea City, the winners of this game. Manchester City know all about facing Swansea, having faced them in the FA Cup in the 2018-19 season in the quarterfinals, on their way to winning the competition. Remember, Brentford or Leicester will play Brighton and Hove Albion, Everton or Sheffield Wednesday. That's, of course, the last of the games in the fourth round. They take on Wickham or Tottenham, which, of course, is a game being played, on Monday. Barnsley will face Chelsea or Luton Town. Wolves will face Southampton in that game. Sheffield United, as I said, will face Bristol City. Man United or Liverpool against West Ham United. Fulham or Burnley against Bournemouth or Crawley Town in the FA Cup. So, of course, as I said, the winners of this will face Swansea in round 5 of the FA Cup, which, of course, will be played next month, as everybody knows. So, of course, that will be played then, of course, and it will be covered on RS Media, no doubt. Also, as well, the action does not stop. As I said, 2 more games to bring you live from this year's FA Cup fourth. Chelsea against Luton Town and Middlesbrough against Blackburn Rovers. Chelsea kicking off at 12, Middlesbrough, Blackburn kicking off 3 p.m. And, of course, also as well playing tomorrow, Brentford against Leicester. Of course, Leicester hold the joy of playing the last ever FA Cup match at Griffin Park. Remember when they beat Brentford 1-0 last year in the fourth round? Incidentally, there was also on the list tomorrow, Liverpool against Manchester United at Old Trafford. And it really has got the football purists excited as 2 heavyweights in the English game go toe-to-toe, not just in the league, but, of course, in the FA Cup. So the second half is almost going to be upon us at the Johnny Rock Stadium. If you are just sort of joining us on the stream, it is Cheltenham Town 0, Manchester City 0. Yes, it is 0-0. I am telling the truth. Manchester City have had good chances with Gabriel Jesus, Riyad Mahrez and Ferran Torres, all being denied by Josh Griffiths in the Cheltenham goal within that first half. Also, as well, there was a good opportunity for Phil Foden in which he had a shot that went just past Josh Griffiths' goal. Cheltenham's best opportunity came through Alfie May. He had an opportunity that he took on the half volley from a thin-as-ass flick on, raced onto it, got a hold of it well, but was denied. And of course, the game, remember, was actually delayed for 5 to 6 minutes due to a very nice, pretty firework display. As the fans are showing their appreciation for Cheltenham Town and just trying to show that they are not forgotten, if you like, as they welcome Manchester City and Pep Guardiola's team into town and into Gloucestershire, which I might add is a lovely part of the world. Well, Guardiola now takes his seat on the bench. There's Riyad Mahrez, who set up that real golden chance for Gabriel Jesus in the first half. Well, Manchester City, incidentally, are a side that don't often do extra time under Pep Guardiola in the FA Cup. The last time they actually managed to have a tie that went to extra time was, of course, the semi-final against Arsenal in the 2016-17 season, in which they were ultimately beaten by Arsene Wenger's team, in which Alexis Sanchez scores twice. And, of course, it was last year where Arsenal beat Manchester City at that same stage. But, of course, they beat them 2-0 with goals from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So we're back underway for the second half. in what was a very good first half by Cheltenham. And we're hoping that they can do exactly the same in the second half and withstand and hold off the formidable and fearsome Manchester City. It is an early touch of the ball for Taylor. Harwood Bellis. Maybe he's dwelling on the ball a little bit too long. Sure, that one is telling him to kick the ball forward. Here is Mahrez inside his own half. Gives it to Harwood Bellis. Clears it forward first time. Thomas to Finazaz. Here is Fernandinho. Tries to play it through to Ferran Torres. He's almost playing down the middle, if you like. He's trying to help the attacks for Manchester City. But as you often know with City, they do like to have a lot of their players sort of roaming round and just make the opposition's defence really hard to deal with. Fernandinho concedes a free kick. He's having a few words with Ben Tozer. Don't think it was anything colourful within that, I have to say. Boyle does get on the end of Griffiths' diagonal kick, but he can only head it out for a Manchester City goal kick, as we are nearly 2 minutes into the second half here at the Johnny Rock Stadium. I think one thing with Manchester City, they didn't often overplay. They didn't often just keep the ball. They just very much tried to, get it forward thinking. I think Mendy was a real problem in that first half where he was getting in behind Matty Blair. Charlie Ragland goes in and leaves one in on Gabriel Jesus and gets a yellow card. So that's 2 of their 3 centre-backs in the book. It was well away from him as he slid in on Jesus, certainly catches his ankle and did certainly send Jesus tumbling to the ground. He's got to be careful now, the Cheltenham number 5 for the remainder of the game. In by Foden, goes to the back post. Got a little glance away, I think, of a City head there. And it has been flagged by the linesman there, Ian Hussein. And it's a Cheltenham Town throw. There's a lot of whip on that free kick. There's Phil Foden. It's quite low. It's quite hard to really get a header at goal. And even if, the defenders in there, Harwood Bellis or Laporte, are able to make contact with it and get it toward goal, you're going to have to get a lot of power generated from that. And it's going to have to, obviously, of course, work the goalkeeper and be on target. Mendy, under pressure, just manages to get away from Finazaz, plays it to Phil Foden. Now to Fernandinho. That's a lovely ball out to Ferran Torres. Brings it on his left foot, but it's too high and goes out for a goal kick. Yeah, he drifts up to the right this time, does Ferran Torres. He brings on his left foot. He just tries to beat the keeper at his far post, and he's tried to go for the top corner, hasn't he? But he's just put too much on it and sort of just leant back and has forced the shot to go off track. Alfie May tried the spectacular there, but he's hit it not just out of play, but out of the ground as it bounces off the main stand where those home fans would usually occupy on the home matches here at the Johnny Rock Stadium. Laporte to Mahrez. Foden had to stretch to keep that ball in play. Mahrez to Laporte. Garcia. Torres fouled by Freestone. Free kick. Yeah, Torres just gets that ball. He's just a few seconds ahead of him, isn't he, in terms of where he's going to go in the reading of the game. He just waits for the ball to come to him. As soon as he sees Freeston step out, he knows if he gets past him, he's going to get fouled and win a free kick. Well, it's once again Foden and Doyle who are both around this. Foden's jogged away from it. In fact, it's going to be Doyle who's going to take this free kick on the right-hand side. Gets in there. Not a bad delivery at all. Jesus was the man he tried to pick out, but Cheltenham defend that well enough as the last touch has gone off the Brazilian Jesus and it's gone out of play for a Cheltenham Town goal kick. He puts a really good delivery in once again, Doyle. He certainly picks out a black shirt. He is onside as they are able to just sort of stay in line with the Cheltenham Town defence and just sort of goes off his face. Tozer running the risk, isn't he, of committing a foul. He put his arms on his back and shoulders, no doubt about it, but he certainly didn't push him of any kind to give away a penalty. It was clever play, but of course we do often see defenders in that situation just try and knock the player off the ball, if you like, to try and just gain a few yards or stop them from flicking it on or getting something at goal. But Tozer was very, very smart there. Certainly has had a good game so far. Ben Tozer inside 51.5 minutes. Here is Foden to Garcia. Away by Ben Tozer once again. Harwood Bellis. That's exactly what Cheltenham are happy to do. Just sort of sit in there. Make it difficult for City. They've got all this quality still on the pitch. And Torres, Mahrez and Foden and Jesus. It's up to them to try and find that way through and not let Cheltenham just give them that opportunity. Foden tries to play it through to Mahrez, but it is well watched and defended well by Cheltenham Town. Laporte, who has spent a lot of time inside Cheltenham's half in this second half. Harwood Bellis with the diagonal, a little bit short for Mendy. Blair plays it to Finazaz. Excuse me, Manny Blair will get it back. Sent up the pitch by Thomas. May goes down. He was offside anyway as he appealed for a free kick. Foden slides it through to Jesus. Is this the moment for Manchester City? It is not to be as he's hit the post. Well, you really did feel that Jesus was going to put the ball in the back of the net there, but he's been denied by the post. Lovely pass by Foden. Beautiful touch into Jesus. You feel he's done everything right. He's just got the ball out of his feet. He's opened himself up, but he's just hit the outside of the post. As it's gone out of play for a goal kick, but he is really, really unlucky. The Brazilian, he's gone close twice now in this game. What an opportunity. Well, that is the magic that Phil Foden has in his locker and his armoury, doesn't it? He just plays that ball through, splits the Cheltenham Town defence as if they weren't even there. Jesus in, and Jesus fails to capitalise as the score still remains at 0-0. Mendy in the middle now to Riyad Mahrez. Is he fouled? Stuart Atwell says no. The Cheltenham player stood his ground well there, but Finazaz tries to send May, who was such a live wire and such a energetic player, out on the right, but it's defended well by Manchester City. Jesus' ball for Mahrez is beyond him, while spun by George Lloyd. He tried to get May, and I think May might have been offside had that ball gone all the way through to him. Fernandinho. Torres. Fernandinho again. Laporte. Foden. Doyle tried to sell a dummy to Will Boyle, but Boyle was very alert and sharp there. Sure, that one has to stop play as the ball cannons off his foot. And of course, by the law, if the referee has interfered with play, he has to pick the ball up and let the team who had the ball, have it back. His arms folded. That's kind of frustrated figure at the moment, Pep Guardiola. His arms are folded. He's talking with his assistant on that bench there, and he's just maybe thinking that his team need to do a little bit more. It's certainly interesting to think what is going on in the mind of Pep Guardiola, who certainly knows the feeling of losing to a lower league side in the FA Cup. Wigan dumped them out 3 years ago in February. It will be when Will Grigg scored at the DW Stadium that dumped Manchester City out. Caught through it. Ball goes in by Freestone, and there's one Cheltenham's first corner of the second half. Well, you see Will Boyle go up to try and help out with the attacks down that left-hand side, and very much, you know, as you often see with the three centre-backs, you do often like to see one of them go forward, and Boyle is that man who's done it so far for Cheltenham. Clemence's corner, once again, floated to the back post. Well watched by Laporte. He's able to head it away. And then Charlie Raglan just could not be able to put the ball in at the second attempt. And I think a foul's actually been given in the build-up there. Garcia. Harwood Bellis. Defended well there by Chris Clements as he stopped the run of Ferran Torres. Now Charlie Raglan switches to play. Beautiful control there by Alfie May. Brings Clements into play. Here is Lloyd. He's got two up ahead of him in Finazaz and May. Garcia clears it, or attempts to clear it, but it bounces off Finazaz and goes out for a Manchester City throw-in. 4 goals to his name this season. 3 goals, sorry, to his name. Finazaz, one of them came in the FA Cup win against Crewe, which went to extra time in the second round. On loan from West Bromwich Albion, like Josh Griffiths, the goalkeeper, and is having a good loan spell nonetheless. The Cheltenham Town number 18, playing really high up the pitch. There's Cheltenham Town's chairman. Certainly something that he's not known for a long time. Really kept the club afloat in the last few years. Has seen a good bit of relative success as they've gone from League 2 to League 1. He also saw them flirt with non-league for 12 months back in the 15-16 campaign. Bentos with the long throw-in. Not a bad long throw-in. He's found the touch in May. Has put the chance away. Cheltenham Town lead Manchester City at the Johnny Rock Stadium. And are we about to have a seismic shock in the FA Cup? Their secret weapon, Bentos' long throw, finally catches Man City out and gives them a whole sort of problems. And Alfie May, who scored 3 in 3 going into this FA Cup match, has made it 4 in 4 with that stabbed finish that saw him sneak in to score. Well, it's all sorts has happened in there. You see 2 players go up for it. It was Raglan and Boyle. Raglan got a touch off his back. It bounced off Boyle and into the path of Alfie May. And like all good strikers, you just smell an opportunity to just stab that in. And he does exactly that. Benjamin Mendy should do so much more for me. He's got to just lean his foot into it and absolutely smash it clear. And he's just almost dangled a leg at it. But Alfie May has stuck the ball in the back of the net to give Cheltenham an unbelievable lead. And they knew that if they got a chance like that in the box, certainly him, he would have had to have took it. And he has done exactly that. What a moment for Alfie May. His 8th goal in all competitions, his 4th in this season's FA Cup. And that has to be right up there with one of the most highlight moments he could have ever predicted. And as it stands, they're heading into round 5 and facing Swansea at the Liberty Stadium and dumping Manchester City, yes, Manchester City, out of the FA Cup. And this really is now going to be a test of Manchester City's quality and resolve. No doubt about it. Aymeric Laporte has been booked in the process for Manchester City. Well, this really is now a real challenge on the hands of Manchester City and co. Cheltenham Town of League 2, remember, 73 places below Manchester City, worlds apart financially in leagues and players and budget, everything you can think of, they are apart. But the FA Cup and its rich history of shocks and absolute unsurprising results at the moment is bringing one here in Gloucestershire with Cheltenham Town dumping the 2019 winners Manchester City out, and Mendy has overrun the ball out of play and out for a goal kick. And what a big 28.5 minutes this is. Manchester City are going to go onto the bench and bring Ruben Dias on, the Portuguese centre-back who has made an unbelievable impact since he came in to the club. He joined them, of course, in the transfer window back in September. Well, there's the man who's made the difference. His goal at the moment is putting Cheltenham Town into the FA Cup 5th round. And what a moment for him and for his team at the moment. But they have got a lot of time to hold on, and they've got a lot of time to think about and a lead to hold on to, which they know is going to be so hard. But if they can stick together and believe anything's possible. Mahrez has played that through to Torres. He looks to try and play Jesus, who made the run across him, but Ben Tozer once again is able to cut it out. George Lloyd goes in, challenging with Taylor Harwood-Bellis, and it's gone Cheltenham Town's way under the challenge of Lloyd. Well, he's been absolutely exceptional. He goes through the Torres. You just think it's going to go on through to a Manchester City player, but he just throws his body at it, sticks a leg out and stops the ball running on through. Whatever the score's going to be, whether Man City do turn this around, he has been absolutely exceptional at the back, Ben Tozer. Ilkay Gundogan is coming on. Manchester City in no mood to keep this at 1-0. They need a goal quickly. And the German, who's really found his form in the last few weeks, including a goal against Aston Villa and Crystal Palace in his last 2 games, is going to come on here and hopefully try and help Manchester City salvage this game here. Laporte. Fernandinho, challenged well by May. Finazaz gives it straight back to Manchester City. Nonetheless, Harwood-Bellis. Laporte. Bounces off Will Boyle at Freestone, and it's a Manchester City throw-in. 2 subs in the offing for Man City, and they're going to have to wait to come on as they try to speed the tempo up as they are desperate for an equalising goal. Lovely ball out by Foden. Torres can't get around Freestone, who stands his ground really well. He's had to deal with Mahrez in the first half. Now has to deal with the Spaniard Ferran Torres. a different player and a different proposition and a different way of having to adapt from a defensive point of view. Into Mahrez, Harwood Bellis. Doyle goes to Laporte at centre-back. Now Garcia. Cheltenham happy to let City have the ball. Well, this would be Cheltenham Town's finest hour. Their record against Premier League sides has seen them play 8 Premier League teams, 8 losses in those games. And that run, at the moment, is coming to an end against Pep Guardiola and the Moneybags Manchester City. Fernandinho. Laporte. Still the Manchester City subs have to wait to come on. Foden. Jinkin and dodging the Cheltenham challenges. Really good feet to get in the box, Foden. He might go it alone. He does manage to finally get a shot away, but there was too many Cheltenham players right in front of him that were dealing with it. He just decided to take matters into his own hands there and try and do it on his own. Laporte with the diagonal to Ferran Torres. Away from Freeston, who fouls him. Free kick. Yeah, Torres went on the outside of him. Really good play by the Spaniard. Freeston went in with the challenge and commits a foul. Changes now finally for Manchester City. Diaz has been ready for a good few minutes. Harwood Bellis is off. The young 18-year-old replaced in the 67th minute by Ruben Diaz. And be interesting to see what Guardiola does with this change. Will he go to 3 at the back, or will he keep with the 4 and shift Garcia up there? Doyle also off. So he's brought his more experienced, seasoned pros on the pitch as he hopes that that little bit more quality will be able to get City an equaliser and get them back level. Cheltenham also gonna make a change as George Lloyd looks to be heading off, and replacing him will be Sean Long, as he will get 22 minutes or so against Manchester City. So a defender on for an attacker. We know what Cheltenham's mentality is now. Gundogan comes on to deliver the free kick. It's gone all the way through. And it's gone out of play for a goal kick. Morris thinks that might have got a touch of a Cheltenham player, but he's wrong. It was a really good whipped-in ball by Gundogan. Laporte and Diaz were both competing for it. It went well away from them as it sailed out of play for a goal kick. Well, there it is. Cheltenham fans at home, you must be thinking you are in dreamland. 1-0 up against Manchester City. It really is the stuff of dreams, this result. And really does just show that the FA Cup is such a wonderful competition. If it can really bring results like it is at the moment. More action to come from on RS Media. Chelsea against Luton Town. I'll be covering that one tomorrow. 12 o'clock kickoff from Stamford Bridge. And, of course, Middlesbrough take on Blackburn. Sonia will be bringing you live coverage of that one from the Riverside Stadium. Of course, also tomorrow, Brentford and Leicester is an intriguing contest at the Brentford Community Stadium. And Manchester United face Liverpool, which, of course, is the pick of the 4th round ties. But here, at the Johnny Rock Stadium in the heart of Gloucestershire, Cheltenham Town are 1-up against Manchester City, but they could not be for long now. It's a really good opportunity for Mahrez, but Josh Griffiths denies him and keeps it at 1-0. What an important save that is by the Cheltenham Town goalkeeper. And Riyad Mahrez, one-on-one on his favoured left foot, but he's denied. And Manchester City have the door firmly slammed shut by Josh Griffiths, the West Bromwich Albion loanee, not even a Cheltenham Town player. Here is Jesus Mendy offside as he jumped up with Sean Long. Well, here's that opportunity again. It was an absolutely inch-perfect pass by Foden. He's done that a couple of occasions in this second half. And it was actually on Mahrez' right foot. In fact, his weaker foot. But you've got to give the goalkeeper a lot of credit. He did not give him a lot for him to aim for. And he had to go higher to beat him. And he just could not do that and was unable to do so as Josh Griffiths denies him. And however, though, maybe if it was on his left foot, it might have been a different outcome. But still, take nothing away. Really good bit of goalkeeping. Well, Michael Duff, a Cheltenham legend, twice promotion winner with the Robins in his playing career. And he's about to have his finest hour as a manager at the moment with 19 minutes to play as Manchester City find themselves a goal down. Winner of this, remember, plays Swansea in round 5 at the Liberty Stadium. Ruben Diaz. Laporte. Will Foden keep that in? No, he won't. Sean Long will hold him off and do what he had to do. Old Cheltenham, before the game, possessed a long thrower in Ben Tozer. He didn't use it to real full effect until the 60th minute when Alfie May stabbed in from Charlie Raglan's flick, which went off the back of Will Boyle into Alfie May's path. He got there ahead of Mendy, stuck it in the back of the net. It's just sneaked in with no Manchester City player even aware that he was there, and he put the ball in. And that is, at the moment, the difference between these two sides as we're heading into the last 17 minutes of this fourth round contest. Foden with the corner. Not a bad delivery. Laporte was climbing. And it's another corner. It's got off a Cheltenham head. It looked like Laporte was going to get real telling connection to Foden's wicked corner. But Cheltenham do enough to hold off. It's going to be Mahrez who's going to take this corner here for Manchester City. Flicked on in there and it's away by Freeston. How important was that he was there? He was just in the right place to knock it away. Steffen's come a long way to boot it forward. There's a few Manchester City players, as you can see, running back because they're coming back from offside positions. Mahrez. Raglan with the chest into Thomas. Now it's with Tozer. Long by Freestone, and Man City get a block on it, and it's a Cheltenham Town throw. You see the corner go in from Phil Foden, and Laporte gets up. It just goes off the back of Will Boyle's head. How important is that header? It looks like Laporte's got the run on him. He's going to get that glance to Foden's corner, but really good defending by Will Boyle that just sort of gets his body in front of him. Doesn't allow him to get behind him to get the header onto Foden's corner, and he's just able to do enough. And that's what it has been. They've just done enough. Cheltenham on the defensive front. Yes, they've had Griffiths to thank, making some really important saves, and obviously the post saving Jesus that one-on-one, but it really just has been helping them out, and it does make you feel that this might just be Cheltenham's day. Well, they're quarter of an hour away from not just the shock of the FA Cup this year, but one of the biggest shocks in recent years. If you thought Crawley beating Leeds in round 3 2 weeks ago was special, then this is something to behold as well. And this is just getting better. Foden. Diaz. Surely Raheem Sterling's going to have to come on in a few minutes or two. You would not expect him to be an unused sub in this game. Manchester City have got a player warming up and stripped and ready to come on. But of course, with the ball not out of play, he has to wait. Mahrez. Fernandinho. Looking for Jesus. Brilliantly headed back by Charlie Raglan. Josh Griffiths will just keep the ball to his feet and then pick it up. That's what's been really important. Charlie Raglan and Boyle in particular have done that really well. When Manchester City have tried to make runs beyond them, they've just been able to just get the flick on back to the goalkeeper or just be able to just defend it as they have done. And it's been a real tremendous effort at the back because as we know with City, they just like to sap the energy. Diaz just, of the opposition that is. Well, Diaz just pushed Alfie May into Andy Williams, the sub there. So Joao Cancelo will come on in place of Benjamin Mendy. Slot straight in at right back, it looks like. Of course, he can play down that left-hand side, the former Juventus defender. Guardiola out of his seat and barking the troops. Laporte's gone to left back. Cancelo's at right back, and Garcia and Diaz are now the two centre-backs. So again, a tinker in the team as they go in search of an equaliser. Fernandinho. Torres. Mahrez. And on the overlap is Garcia. He'll cross it in. It's going to go all the way through to Torres. Laporte, will he have better success with this delivery? He went down the middle looking for Fernandinho, but Cheltenham defend it well. They just can't quite get it away. Fernandinho nearly found Foden. Important challenge by Matty Blair. Mahrez. In by Torres, who's picked out Foden, but the header is over the bar. Well, the little man has come up with a huge moment in the game. It came off two Cheltenham players in the process from Ben Toes' throw-in, and it just fell to his path, and he's absolutely stuck it into the roof of the net. And he loved every minute of it, didn't he? And he is going to be absolutely adored in this town tonight. There's no doubt about it. And it's just a shame with the current circumstances that Cheltenham have got to have low-key celebrations, because if they were able to have it, you would have thought they'd be partying long, long into the night. But of course, you've got to remember, wouldn't have been partying for too long because they've got a game on Tuesday. We're at home to Oldham Athletics, so they'd immediately be brought back down to earth and back to reality and back into the hardship of League Two. So if they can win, they've got to try and get out of their system enough and make sure it doesn't carry over till Tuesday. Cancelo shoots on his left foot, wide. Wide. Yeah, no one to pick out from in the box. That high line that Cheltenham have got, they're not obviously they're allowing Manchester City players to just try and make the run beyond them. And Cancelo got in the middle there and went for the curler, and he certainly was in a good position to try it, but the execution was not really there. And there's Andy Williams. He was an FA Cup quarter-finalist 13 years ago with Bristol Rovers. And Finn Azaz has gone down, maybe with cramp. Could be more of an injury for the West Brom loanee. And possibly it might have a rethink for Michael Duff. Chance for those players to get the fluids on board as Finazaz goes down. Well, the last Premier League opposition they faced Everton back in 2013 and were beaten 5-1 here at the Johnny Rock Stadium in quite convincing fashion. But here, against all the odds and as huge underdogs, it is Cheltenham that are getting the better of the powerhouse that is Manchester City. Finazaz has gone off. His race is run, if you pardon the pun, and he's been replaced by Andy Williams. Here is now Torres. It's the final 9 minutes of this game. Lovely ball in, and there is Phil Foden, who puts it away, and Manchester City have got level. At last they've scored. You can imagine the relief amongst those City players is absolutely huge. He just broke through the lines, put the ball in the net. Cheltenham's resolve is broken as City's quality finally prevails as they get level. What a ball in by Cancelo. Foden is not offside. It looks like Long's playing him on, and he's still got to put the ball in the back of the net. It's a really good controlled volleyed finish by Phil Foden. Just sticks his foot out, puts it in, not too much power, just lets the ball just sort of come off his foot into the net, beyond Griffiths, who's got no chance, and Manchester City are level. He looked around for offside, he wasn't sure, but the linesman's flag, Ian Husson stayed down, and Manchester City are now level. And they have got a long thrower here. Cheltenham is remembering Ben Tozer. His long throw into the box caused carnage for those Manchester City defenders. And players defending it is Raglan's header, which bounced off Boyle into the path of May, was put in the net. Stuart Atwell getting word in his ear from Guardian that saying Tozer's gone just a couple of yards forward just to try and make sure he doesn't have to make up as much ground from the throw-in as he needs to. Takes the throw-in here this time. Won't go through for Boyle to flick onto. Mahrez with the header. Kept in there by Cancelo. Absolutely hammers it clear. Put back in by Freestone. Tozer now knocking it forward. And it's Manchester City have a throw-in. Aymeric Laporte. Now left back. Gundogan. Garcia. Cancelo. Pass is blocked off by Chris Clements. Foden. Fernandinho. Lovely ball through. Jesus is surely offside. He's put the ball in the net. And Manchester City have now gone 2-1 in front. And finally, Jesus has put the ball in the back of the net. But what a ball for Jesus to take under control and stick in the net. And Manchester City have turned it around, really under the microscope to do it. And they have managed to put the ball in the net. And it's Gabriel Jesus with his 8th goal in 13 FA Cup matches. That's a brilliant ball by Fernandinho. Sensational. He is onside. Great decision by the linesman. Ian Husson. It's Raglan who's playing him on, and Jesus under control. He turns, spins, and puts the ball in the back of the net. And it was doom and gloom 5 minutes ago, but Manchester City really have shown their class and shown their quality, and have got themselves back in front. Or sorry, have got themselves in front rather. Huge moment in the game and huge for Gabriel Jesus. He really does like playing in the FA Cup. A man who has not scored as many as he would have probably have liked this season. It's a 5th goal nonetheless, and his first in this season's cup competition. But Cheltenham Town, who were doing a really good job in shutting Manchester City out, now find themselves behind with 5+ minutes remaining, and it's really going to ask questions of Michael Duff. Ben Tozer has been booked, all 3 of the centre-backs in the referee's notebook. It's a chance for him to have a long throw once again. Rubbing of the ball with that towel that he's picked up from the side. He throws it back in. It's a straighter throw away by Cancelo, and it's a corner kick to Cheltenham Town. Got to be a good delivery. Look how many bodies City got back there. It's every player back there for Manchester City. They're just trying to stop Cheltenham from getting a chance on goal. In by Clements. Boyle getting up. It's a chance. It's hit well. It was by Matty Blair, but he's almost hit it too well, and it's gone into the stand behind the goal and out for a goal kick. Yeah, Boyle climbed. He's always the target, isn't he? Will Boyle. Got to be at least 6'6". It comes off a City head. It's dropped for Matty Blair. Really good opportunity to strike it. Hits it on the volley, but he's hit it too high and sails over the bar. Well, I would have dearly loved to score 2 goals for him this season. Nearly got a 3rd. Now, if he may commit to foul, he goes and fouls the Manchester City defender Garcia, who's felt the full effects of that, all right. Turned away to try and knock it back to Zach Steffen, but Alfie May was having none of it and fouled him in the end. Well, I would have expected from those Manchester City fans watching at home, there would have been real, genuine concern that they were not going to do this, that they weren't going to claw back a 1-0 deficit and go in front. You could just have felt the relief when the Foden equaliser went in, but then to get one just a few minutes later with Jesus was absolutely vital, as it has meant that City have gone 2-1 in front and hold the lead. Alex Adai is ready and waiting to come on. He recently had a loan at National League side Maidenhead United, which was cut short last month, and replacing him is Chris Clements, who comes off. So Adai, who provides a lot of pace, will come on and hopefully get an equalising goal to take this game into extra time. Do or die now for the Robins in Cheltenham Town. If you're talking about horse racing, which of course this town is so famous for, it almost just felt like the horse just gone out of the blocks way too fast, and it's gone so fast that in the end it's just sort of slowed down, and the more powerful favoured horse has just overtook him and overpowered him and took him on the line. And that's the case you could use here for Manchester City. The dominant, powerful, thoroughbred horse, if you like, is just really taking the little horse at the moment and has taken him in the end. But you cannot hide the fact that Cheltenham Town have made this a really good, cracking FA Cup contest and have given their all. But City quality just too much. And when you can take off Tommy Doyle and Taylor Harwood-Bellis and bring on Joao Cancelo, who cost nearly £60 million, and Ilkay Gundogan, a man who has won the World Cup with Germany on the pitch of the Johnny Rock Stadium, I think it is testament to the quality that City have, and testament also to the fact that how well Cheltenham actually did up until that point before the subs were introduced onto the pitch. Ferran Torres, Ilkay Gundogan, Ruben Diaz, Gundogan, to Aymeric Laporte. Gundogan. Diaz under pressure from Andy Williams, but he manages to play out of trouble. 4 minutes added on. Foden gets it from Mahrez. Driving away from Will Boyle. Freeston dives in and has conceded a throw-in as he got in there ahead of João Cancelo. Well, he's man of the match on, at the moment, the losing side, but it cannot take away how important he's been. He's made vital interceptions. And, of course, it's still worth remembering. It still sticks out in your mind how important that block was he made from that real powerful Benjamin Mendy drive so early on in the first half that kept it at 0-0. Of course, a few years ago, he was told he could leave Newport County. He was in a bad place as Newport was struggling in League Two. Michael Flynn, the current Newport boss, gave him a lifeline, and then he obviously departed to go to Cheltenham 18 months ago and has not looked back since. But Cheltenham are claiming a back pass there. They felt came from Garcia back to Stefan, which Stuart Atwell sees nothing wrong with it. Well, had I chased Garcia all the way there, and certainly right to appeal it, but I think maybe Stefan gets the benefit of the doubt there. Fernandinho, pass cut out, intended for Gundogan by Tozer. Torres. Laporte gets away from Andy Williams. Now to the edge of the box with Gundogan. Here's Foden. Out now to the right with Mahrez. He's going to cut in on his left foot. Decides to go on his right on the outside. Can't get away from Freeston. He stands his ground well. Holds him off. And has been forced to go back toward the right-hand touchline. Jesus down again under the challenge of Tozer. Went down a bit too cheaply for me. May flicks it on. Williams chasing all the way. Stefan's come a long way out of his goal to just boot that back into the Cheltenham half. And Torres is unable to get it under control and send it forward. We're into the final 90 seconds. You cannot but help admire Cheltenham Town, who've made a real good fist of this against a European heavyweight and also a domestic superpower, remember, in Manchester City. They've given everything they've got and have scared the champions and scared them for 21 minutes. In fact, only for Foden to score in the 81st minute, around about that time. And then, as it stands, Gabriel Jesus is winner, 84 minutes on the clock, 6 minutes of normal time to go. Means that Manchester City are in round 5. But my God, have they been made to work for this. Fernandinho and Foden just both communicating to one another as Foden leaves it for Fernandinho. He gets it up to João Cancelo, got an assist for Foden's goal. Pokes it through. Here's Gundogan. Plays on the floor to Torres. And he's made it 3-1. And that has now sealed it. Beautiful pass through to Gundogan. He looked up. Saw Torres was there. He's put it in. Manchester City have got a third. It's their third different goal scorer. And Ferran Torres is the man to score his first ever FA Cup goal. Well, João Cancelo's really made a difference since he came on. Lovely ball through to Gundogan. Managed to stay on side as he got in between Raglan and Tozer's line. He knew in the corner of his eye that Torres was the man down the middle. Found him. Beautiful pass. And with the last attack of the game, Manchester City have got a third goal and have put Cheltenham to bed once and for all. And there is the final whistle. They got there in the end, Manchester City. A shake of the hands between both managers. Pep Guardiola not on the end of a shot like he was 3 years ago against Wigan Athletic, and instead they booked their place into round 5 at Cheltenham's expense. Cheltenham got in front through Alfie May stabbing in from a Ben Tozer throw-in. And then obviously sandwiched in between that, there was Raglan and Boyle who both competed, bounced off Boyle into the path of May, who put the ball in the net and made Cheltenham go 1-0 up. They were in front for 21 minutes. It looked like it was going to be their day. City were missing some chances, real big opportunities. Mahrez went close. Jesus missed a one-on-one, but then they got level with Phil Foden, who scored in the 81st minute. Then they would add 2 more in the final 10 minutes with Gabriel Jesus scoring his 8th FA Cup goal in 12 matches. His 8th goal in 13 matches. And then a goal from Ferran Torres secured it and made it sure that City were going to win in the 93rd minute once and for all at the scoreline at 3-1. Cheltenham gave it a good go, scared Manchester City for a little bit, but Manchester City prevail. It's finished. Cheltenham Town 1, Manchester City 3 at the Johnny Rock Stadium. Well, it will be Manchester City in round 5 for the FA Cup, facing Swansea at the Liberty Stadium. Cheltenham Town went in front, an hour on the clock. Remember, a goal from Alfie May, his 4th in the competition, and ultimately proved to be his last as he put the ball in the back of the net. And that goal on the hour mark came, and it looked like Cheltenham were going to do it. They were holding on for 20 minutes until Phil Foden scored as he arrived on the Joao Cancelo cross and volleyed it in beyond despairing Josh Griffiths. And then, of course, they managed to make it 2-1. Fernandinho with a beautiful pass through the middle that ran on through to Jesus, took it under control, turned and spinned, and then fired it into the back of the net to make it 2-1 to Manchester City. And then they were able to make the score just a little bit more convincing and make it 3-1 with Ferran Torres scoring his first ever FA Cup goal as he was able to score from an Ilkay Gundogan assist as he broke through the lines through a Cancelo pass, looked up and spotted the run of Torres, who could make no mistake and didn't make no mistake, put the ball in the net for 3-1. So it's finished there. They're into round 5 alongside Sheffield United, Bristol City, Barnsley, Swansea, Southampton, also in there for round 5. They will face Swansea in the next round. There are more games to come, remember. There's 2 more on RS Media. Chelsea take on Luton Town from 12 o'clock at Stamford Bridge. Remember, Frank Lampard under serious pressure. He'll be hoping that his team can just get a win against the championship opponent in Luton Town. Of course, looking to cause a shock in that 4th round game in West London. Of course, the other game on RS Media, Roy Sonley will bring you live commentary of Middlesbrough against Blackburn Rovers in that all championship affair. That, of course, kicks off from 3 o'clock. We've also got Brentford against Leicester. Of course, that's a really intriguing contest, but the pick of the bunch is Manchester United against Liverpool from 5 o'clock, in the FA Cup. Of course, they only met a week ago, and it was United that prevailed. It was a 0-0 draw, and of course, Liverpool had a real bad week on top of losing to Burnley, so they'll be hurting and hoping to win against Manchester United, competing in the league, and they're competing against each other in the FA Cup. And of course, Monday, Wycombe will face Tottenham at Adams Park, and Crawley are away to Bournemouth, of course, fresh from causing a shock 2 weeks ago against Leeds United. Thank you for watching RS Media's live coverage of this FA Cup 4th round match between Cheltenham Town and Manchester City. Well, Cheltenham Town really shook the champions to its very, very core on the hour mark, with Alfie May scoring his 4th FA Cup goal. But Manchester City scored 3 goals in the final 10 minutes that secured the win for Pep Guardiola's team. That means they progress to round 5 and face Swansea City. We'll see you tomorrow on RS Media. Thank you for tuning in. You have been watching this live stream of Cheltenham Town versus Manchester City. Thank you, and I'll see you very, very soon, and have a very pleasant evening. Thank you. Goodbye.